Meantime, the Apple slide continues today. The star of most of last year is now the 5th worst performer in the S&P 500 this year. And it's certainly been a really rough ride for Apple shareholders since the iPhone 5. Why do we say that? Well, look at this timeline, right? Back on August 24th, 2011, Tim Cook was named Apple CEO. On September 4th, 2012, Apple announces the iPhone 5. On November 2nd, 2012, Apple announces the iPad mini. And you can see that the iPhone 5 announcement was nearly the peak for the stock, at least so far. Apple shares down 29% since the iPhone 5 launch and down 21% since the iPad mini came out. So this begs the question, if Apple's slide continues and new products fail to amaze, is Tim Cook cooked as Apple CEO? Let us bring in John Fort, Herb Greenberg, and Reggie Middleton, editor of the Boom Bust blog. And I should note that Reggie put a note out to his clients. I'm not sure the exact price point on Apple, but it was doggone near the top, saying, get out of the stock. It was a great call. Why'd you make it, and what do you see happening now?
Hey, this is Reggie Middleton. I'm at the Grand Central Station Apple Store in New York, and we have the new iPhone 5S. We have the new LG G2. Pricing, this LG costs, what, $545, 16 gigabyte. The all-in price for this, if I'm not mistaken, is about $650 for the iPhone 5S. Of course, well, you can't see, importantly, but the subsidized prices are different. Now, this is brand new technology. This is the best that Apple had to offer, which is not true. This is the best that Apple had to offer if it maintained its margins. Take a look at the pictures. Number one, the screens. The difference in the screens are outrageous, in my opinion. Big screen just can't be touched. Now it's the Apple screen, iPhone screen smaller, but it's a much lower resolution.
Okay, well, two reasons for making it. Number one is margin compression thesis. Apple is pretty much done in terms of a fat margin business model, simply because the competition from Google was designed.
So you think Apple's margins have peaked? They will never be as high as they have been?
Absolutely never. Absolutely never. A lot of people think it's a technology race between Apple and Google, but Google used a business model to attack Apple and not necessarily tech. That business model is what we call a less than free model, which prevents Apple from charging extreme margins. Apple is not done as a company. They can either make better products or drop prices, but if you make better products, the R&D, the expenditure drops margins. If you drop prices, you drop margins. So,
in your opinion, which is a better picture? That one?
Yeah.
Now look, you blow it up. See the difference now?
It's different, yes.
See, you can keep going all the way, yes.
It's good LG pictures.
$545. You see the screen? Bigger screen, higher resolution, better camera. Say it again?
Good.
Very good, right?
I'm sorry.
You see the difference?
LG is small.
$545. This is $649. If you buy it outright, you know? Or it's like $99 if subsidized, but...
Is it a big difference?
Yeah. You tell me.
I mean, this one is warm and this one is cold, so the pictures are...
Look at them. That's the actual, that's the real thing right there. Which one's more realistic?
Yeah, this one has the film.
Look at him. Look at that. Now, blow it up. You see the noise?
Yeah, the noise. Yeah.
That's a lot of noise, you see?
Yeah.
And this one you can blow all the way up.
Yeah, that's...
Look at that. You can see that.
That's strength with the other one too, right there.
Yeah, but this one is more exaggerated. Now, forget the camera. Look at the actual screen. The size.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. This is quick, but it's pushing a lot. It's doing a lot less work.
You can take more pictures faster.
Yeah, here, I'll show you. You switch to burst mode.
iPhone 5 neredeydi? iPhone 5
Here, reverse shot, and I don't think they have equivalent here. I don't think they have it. Okay. Yeah. speed. Ready? See?
Yeah, it's fast.
It's very fast.
You said this one was faster.
The chip seems faster, but it's doing a lot less work. This just took about, you know, it didn't focus on. But you see all the pictures it just took, right?
Yeah.
In that short amount of time? You have to take the time and focus
But
it.
the,
Go for
the
video.
margins of the mobile products are trending down. They're trending down for two reasons. The market's not saturated, but it's starting to mature, and you have significant competition from Google's Android. You know, Google's Android is, in my opinion, and technically a superior OS operating system, and it has various OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, that put out significantly very advanced equipment, and they put it at very, very thin margins. So you're talking, they give the operating system at less than free with equipment that's very, very advanced, and it gets upgraded roughly every 3 months, you know, between the different manufacturers. In order for Apple to compete with that, they have two choices, right? They could drop the price of the iPhone, okay, which of course drops margins, or they could increase the technology that goes into the iPhone, which also drops margins. So no matter what choice they have, it's lesser margins. And you see that going as time goes on. It costs more and more to make the iPhone 5 than to make the iPhone 4, than to make the iPhone 3. It costs more to make the latest iPad versus the iPad 2 versus the original.
You hit the streets, Reggie. You hit the streets around Wall Street to talk to other people about your thesis and your analysis, and to kick the tires a bit. I want to play what someone else said in regards to what you're saying. He agreed, but he had a slightly different thesis on why. Let's take a listen.
With 97% of the market capitalization of the computer industry, you know, if the iPhone or the iPad doesn't do well, there goes A, the computer industry, right, as defined by market capitalization, potentially B, the NASDAQ.
I agree to a certain extent. What Apple's been able to do is come out with a new product to then reinvigorate those growth expectations and those margins in its earnings potential. And I just don't think you can continue to bet on Apple coming out with a new generational product every 2 years.
I think that's a very valid point. You know, if you take a look at all the other tech titans, such as IBM, Microsoft, Google, etc., you know, Microsoft's had a few hits. Apple's had hit after hit. Many of Apple's hits, and not to take any credit away from Apple, it's, you know, wonderful company, but a lot of their success was due to the incompetence of their competitors. Their competitors have not gotten their game together because of the OS assistance from Google's Android.
So now everyone want to have an LG phone, right?
This is vastly, this phone is all screen.
What do you say?
You see, it's all screen. It puts the buttons right on the back. So it takes it off the side so you can push the screen all the way to the bezel. It's a good idea. Instead of putting the buttons here, you have a thinner phone, you have a bigger screen. Now let's try the video now. Yeah. Mode. Normal. Full size. Do a recording. Check this out. See, it's actually does a dual recording. Put my face up there. It's recording me and the outside at the same time. Not even close. Look at that.
And this one looks like I have so much makeup also.
Because you have so much makeup, that's why.
Yeah, look there. Doesn't look.
Wait, which video is clearer?
Yeah, mine.
Wait a minute, which video is clearer? This is much, much, much sharper than that.
It is sharper, yes. So you. It is sharper.
Yeah, let's do it over again. Wow. Wow, look at that. You can zoom part of the picture, see?
So what is the use for that, actually? What would you use it for in the real life?
Here. You take a video of someone far away, and then you can zoom in the face from far away. See?
And then you can exchange it and have it on the big screen?
No, look. it takes a video like that. Suppose you want to record her butt. See?
Yeah.
Here, lift it up.
So it's actually, instead of zooming in the
The
whole,
whole thing, you're just zooming in a portion.
but it's too small to use for some sort of function, though.
That's not necessarily. Look, you want to zoom in the face.
Чому нема золотого? Тату, та пані біля тебе, чи то є золотий?
See? And then I showed you dual recording, right?
Yeah.
And you can even switch. Watch. See? Now that's the back camera. This is the front camera. And you switch again. That's the front camera. This is the back camera. We'll try this. We'll compare. Okay, everything's all automatic. Okay. Even with the stress of recording with both cameras at one time, the LG's doing much better. Look at the washout. See the washout on that? And plus that stop. It's going to take small videos for some reason.
So is that why it doesn't have a lot of memory, or?
That's probably it. I'm pretty sure you can take longer videos, and it's probably because it's a store. It's probably, you know, what you call it?
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't have more memory.
Well, it has a lot of memory. Everybody in the store messes with these. It's probably filled up. So that's not their fault. Okay. Wow. Now look at this. And this is taking 2 videos at one time. You see the difference there? Cameras at one time. That's not even close. That's horrible.
Yeah, this is horrible. Why is it so wide? It's like a...
It's going to take small video. Because this is more marketing than technology. That's why.
But it does though make like
look at that.
makeup look so much more than this one though.
Even the lower bit.
I mean, this one is also very sharp.
Wow. Well, that says it all. Let's go take a look at browsing speeds.
Well, and also, Apple's downslide started before Tim Cook took the reign. It started when Jobs was in office. The issue is, it's not apparent because there's a significant tail. You know, when the low-margin business model came in, Apple was still, from a fundamental perspective, cooking on 16 cylinders or 8-cylinder engine, and they still are fundamentally. You know, they still make more money than almost every company.
Okay, is there
in the world.
anything Apple can do product-wise, or is there any price point Apple could reach dollar-wise that would make you recommend buying the stock?
Well, there's a price point, but Apple, as you know, Herb said, is becoming a mature company, and people are still looking at Apple as a growth play. You know, it is no longer a growth play.
Well, though some people are bringing it back and saying it's becoming a value play at this point, but value play or mature play. That's what they said about Microsoft for years. The value play has been dead money.
Oh, here comes John. Jump in here, John.
Is the problem the market share, or is the problem the margins? You can't have it both ways. I mean, everybody agrees Apple's making more money than anybody in smartphones, and those ASPs, again, are holding up. They're also making more money than anybody in tablets, even in small tablets. Other people are breaking even, maybe making a penny or two. Apple's outselling them and making the margins, and at least they think, again, I don't know, we'll see what happens, but they think they can get the margins up from here.
Okay, well, you can have both margin and market share issues, and that's what Apple has. Apple is losing market share. Remember, the market is growing exponentially, right? But proportionally, Apple is losing market share. Absolutely.
So they're getting bigger, they're just not getting bigger as fast as
the market, as fast as the market. In addition, their margins are shrinking. They shrunk from last quarter. And in addition, Apple, a lot of people said Research in Motion also was making a lot of money, and fundamentally they were. By the time the fundamentals show the margin compression, it's too late.
And this is not Tim Cook's issue as far as I'm concerned. You don't put the blame on him and say he's cooked at this point, because, again, this is something that was naturally going to happen.
Right. And one of Apple's biggest assets appears to have been Steve Jobs. You know, when Steve Jobs was there, Apple was on the rise. When Steve Jobs was excised, Apple fell. When he came back, Apple came back again. You know, and you know, it's a good chance that Steve Jobs is not coming back now. So now it's left to Steve Cook, who seems to be a technical operations guy, but just doesn't seem to have the mantra and the following that Steve Jobs has. Now, I think Tim Cook that Cook is going to have a rough time because Apple's downfall started before the death of Steve Jobs because of the competition that came from Google's Android. But there's a tail, you know, so you don't get to see the full effect of what Android did until after the fact. And then after the fact is after Steve Jobs, Cook has taken the mantle as CEO.
Yeah.
You know, but regardless of the fact, you know, he's going to catch the brunt of it.
Poor Tim Cook. Everything's blamed on this poor guy, and Steve Jobs is deified by the cult of Apple followers.
Exactly.
And some analysts.